Where the fuck is Bob Iger?
Now, tell me exactly what it is you're afraid of.
I keep having the same dream. Everywhere I look, people are being replaced.
Okay, and who do you think is going to have you replaced?
Them. The puppet masters. The last time I had the dream, I was walking down the school hallway. And then I see Butters, and he's like, "Hey, Eric, you want to see what my mom packed me for lunch?" And that's when I start to notice that something's wrong. Everyone I cared about has been systematically replaced.
Has Disney's Snow White remake gone too far? Fans are fuming, and South Park's latest parody might just be the harshest critique yet. Rachel Zegler, Disney's chosen Snow White, has found herself at the center of a cultural storm, and it seems the controversy isn't dying down anytime soon. This debate isn't just about a single movie, it's a broader conversation about how Hollywood approaches diversity, storytelling, and respecting beloved classics. But is this backlash justified, or is it a case of audiences resisting change? Let's dive deep into the drama that has everyone talking and uncover the layers of this cultural clash. South Park has never shied away from controversy, and their latest episode, Into the Pandaverse, takes direct aim at Disney's so-called woke agenda.
Eric, it's okay. It's okay.
Mom, I had a dream that I was replaced by a diverse woman.
Oh, not again.
Yeah, only this time, it wasn't just me. They were taking all my favorite people and replacing them with diverse women complaining about the patriarchy. Will you check under the bed and make sure there's no Disney executives under there?
I promise there's not.
I'm scared, Mom. Will you please just look and make sure Kathleen Kennedy isn't under my bed?
This biting satire features iconic South Park characters like Cartman, Stan, and Butters reimagined as adult women of color, a clear jab at Disney's trend of diversifying beloved characters in its remakes. The episode wasn't just playful mockery, it was a scathing critique of Disney's recent approach to storytelling. By reworking classics to fit a modern narrative, South Park argued, Disney risks alienating the core audience who cherished these stories for decades. The creators of South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, didn't hold back in illustrating how such decisions can feel forced and inauthentic. The satirical storyline highlighted the absurdity of prioritizing tokenism over genuine creativity. By exaggerating Disney's casting choices and narrative overhauls, South Park turned the spotlight on a broader issue, the fine line between inclusivity and pandering. The humor was sharp, the critique unmistakable, and it left audiences divided between laughter and uncomfortable agreement.
And finally, I want to scream, and I'm like, why are they replacing every single character with someone who is diverse? But then Kenny's like, it's not our fault, it's because of Kathleen Kennedy. But then Kathleen Kennedy's just like, fuck it, make it more lame. And everyone in town is like, no, please, Kathleen Kennedy, stop ruining everything. But Kathleen Kennedy is all like, put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more fucking lame. And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down. And then Bob Iger is all like, no, what's going on with my stocks? No, Kathleen Kennedy.
It was another reminder that South Park thrives on tackling cultural hot topics head on. Rachel Zegler's casting as Snow White immediately stirred up a storm of debate. Fans of the original story couldn't help but point out a glaring inconsistency. Snow White's defining characteristic, described in the classic as skin as white as snow, seems at odds with Zegler's casting. While diversity in Hollywood is undoubtedly important, critics questioned whether this choice honored the essence of the character or was simply an attempt to modernize at any cost. The backlash wasn't solely about race. Many fans expressed frustration that Disney appeared to be prioritizing symbolic gestures over staying true to the narrative's roots. Social media platforms became battlegrounds for heated discussions, with some defending Zegler's acting talent, while others criticized the studio for what they saw as a disregard for the story's authenticity.
Something is wrong with the universe. Our stocks are down and every Disney movie this year has failed.
We don't understand it, sir. We keep making the same movie over and over and pandering to everyone, but suddenly it's not working.
Then we've got to pander harder.
Look, I don't want to have to say it, but I think the problem is Kathleen Kennedy.
This isn't the first time Disney has faced backlash over casting choices, but the Snow White controversy feels particularly intense. For many fans, this debate isn't about opposing progress, it's about respecting the integrity of beloved characters while finding meaningful ways to evolve storytelling. As the discussion raged on, it became clear that Disney's decision was about more than just casting. It was a flashpoint for deeper frustrations with Hollywood's creative direction. The controversy surrounding Snow White doesn't end with casting. Disney's live-action remake has made sweeping changes to the story that have left fans scratching their heads. The prince, a central figure in the original fairy tale, has been practically erased from the narrative. The seven dwarves, whose unique personalities and bond with Snow White were iconic, have been replaced entirely. These changes raise a fundamental question. At what point does a remake stop being an adaptation and start becoming an entirely different story? Critics argue that these changes strip away the heart and soul of the original Snow White. The romantic arc, which was central to the classic tale, has been removed entirely. Instead of enhancing the story, these decisions seem to prioritize modern messaging over timeless storytelling. For generations, Snow White has been a story about love, kindness, and friendship. By removing these elements, Disney risks alienating the very audience that grew up cherishing the original. Fans have voiced concerns that these changes make the film feel more like a political statement than a heartfelt reimagining of a beloved classic.
Where the fuck is Bob Iger?
Mr. Iger just had to take some of the others to a screening.
I think that things are being kept from me, and if you're going to keep things from me, then you'd better put a chick in it and make it fucking gay as fuck.
Frustration isn't just about nostalgia, it's about preserving the essence of stories that have stood the test of time. Rachel Zegler's comments about her role as Snow White have added fuel to the fire. In several interviews, Zegler described the original story as outdated and problematic, a statement that didn't sit well with fans. Her tone, which some perceived as dismissive, came across as more critical of the source material than excited to bring it to life. One particularly controversial moment was when Zegler joked about apple-flavored snacks on set, seemingly mocking one of the story's most iconic symbols. She also hinted that the prince's scenes might be cut entirely, framing the decision as a progressive move. However, many fans interpreted this as an attempt to erase one of the story's core themes, rather than update it meaningfully. These interviews painted a picture of an actress who didn't seem to appreciate the legacy of the character she was portraying. For fans, it felt like a betrayal of the story they held dear. Instead of embracing the role with reverence, Zegler's comments came across as dismissive and at times entitled. This perception has only deepened the divide between Disney and its audience. The Snow White controversy is just the latest chapter in a broader narrative of fan dissatisfaction with Disney's remakes. While the casting of Halle Bailey as Ariel in The Little Mermaid faced its own backlash.
It's everything that you love about the original, but it's exciting and it's a twist on kind of Ariel's strength and powerfulness, and she's just so strong in this film, and I'm just so grateful.
That film managed to retain much of its original charm. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for Snow White. Fans argue that Disney's drastic changes feel more like pandering than genuine attempts to update the story. This frustration isn't just about one movie, it's a reflection of a larger issue with how Hollywood approaches storytelling. Instead of creating new narratives that celebrate diversity, studios seem intent on retrofitting old classics to meet modern standards. For many audiences, this approach feels lazy and inauthentic. Fans aren't asking for carbon copies of the originals, they're asking for adaptations that honor the heart of these stories while finding ways to make them relevant today. When studios prioritize messaging over storytelling, they risk alienating the very audiences they aim to engage. The Snow White debate is a reminder that diversity and authenticity aren't mutually exclusive, but finding that balance is key. South Park's satire and Into the Pandaverse cuts to the heart of the issue. By exaggerating Disney's approach to casting and storytelling, the show highlighted how these decisions can come across as shallow and performative. The message was clear: diversity should enrich the narrative, not overshadow it. This isn't the first time South Park has taken aim at Disney. The show has a long history of parodying the entertainment giant, from mocking Mickey Mouse to critiquing the Star Wars sequels. With Into the Pandaverse, South Park continued its tradition of holding up a mirror to Hollywood's missteps, forcing audiences to confront uncomfortable truths about the state of modern storytelling. The episode resonated with fans because it tapped into their frustration. By turning the spotlight on Disney's choices, South Park underscored the importance of authenticity in storytelling. The critique wasn't just about Snow White, it was about the broader trend of sacrificing narrative integrity for the sake of appearances. So what's the real issue here? Is it about inclusivity, or is it about authenticity? Fans aren't asking for carbon copies of the past. They're asking for adaptations that honor the heart of the originals while feeling relevant for today. But with Snow White, Disney's drastic changes and Rachel Zegler's controversial comments have left audiences disillusioned. This debate isn't just about one movie, it's a reflection of how Hollywood approaches diversity and storytelling in an increasingly polarized world. What do you think? Is Disney modernizing classics or losing their magic in the process? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates on the Snow White drama and Disney's latest moves. See you in the next one.